Hello and welcome to this very special show. Is this Indian cricket's best ever year? We are slightly delayed because we were having a bit of a technical glitch, so apologies for that. Having said that, it's one of those days. Everything is permitted. What a fantastic victory. Let's go step by step. Take a look at this test match. What set it up? What set it up was that opening partnership between KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal. Unbelievable. That is what set it up. The moment you get a 100-run opening stand in South Africa, automatically you are on the ascendancy because no team will be able to come back from there on. There were multiple tweets on the second morning when India was having a bit of a mini collapse saying, oh, what's going on, the middle order and the problem here and the problem there. But once you have 300 plus runs in South Africa, take a look at the 2018 series and you will know what I'm talking about. You are almost in an unassailable kind of position where South Africa will find it impossible to make a comeback, especially against a bowling attack like that of India's. Tremendous bowling attack. Tremendous bowling attack because, this has versatility. If you take a look at it, it's got all kinds. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj, Shardul Thakur and Ravi Ashwin. They have all of the ingredients of success. Each one of them have contributed. Ashwin picked up the last two back-to-back wickets, will be on a hat-trick when he goes into the New Year test match. It has been an absolute sensation. So what I'm going to do for this show, a lot of questions have already come in on WhatsApp, on Twitter. And if you want to ask me questions, you can ask me here on the chat as well. I will try and analyze. We will also play a couple of very important videos, set things up, put out a couple of important stories, and obviously tackle the question that we've said. Is this Indian cricket's best year in terms of test match cricket? This centurion win, I mean, what an incredible record South Africa has in this particular venue. 26 test matches, 21 wins. So almost like the Gabba, the hallowed fortress of the Gabba. This is... It is unbelievable. The hallowed fortress of the Gabba and now the hallowed fortress of the Centurion. If you take the whole year, that is what it is all about. This test match, after Rahul and Mayank Agarwal, everyone, if you take a look, all of the bowlers have contributed. Shardul, those two key wickets. Jasprit, unbelievable. Shami, what an incredible match he's had. 8 wickets. Ashwin coming up with the last 2 wickets. Siraj, tremendous, runs in all the time. Today morning, when that partnership was happening, he picked up Quinton de Kock and gave India that breakthrough. Even in batting, if you take a look at India's second innings, those mini cameos were also useful. Under Virat Kohli, this winning mentality that is there now. And that is what is giving India one win after another. Centurion was a complete performance. Anybody who has seen Indian cricket in the 90s, think of the 1996 tour of South Africa. Think of the later tours of South Africa. It was almost as if we go there, we know we will be battered and bruised. Now, when you go to South Africa, you have this innate self-belief that you are there to win. Virat Kohli's team is there to win. This is a team that has all the ingredients of winning test series in Sena countries, be it Australia, be it England, be it South Africa. That is the difference as far as this Indian team is concerned. Now, let us take the last 12 years. Before that, I must tell you, on this show, I will celebrate Mohammad Shami. I will celebrate Mohammad Shami for what he has gone through. What an incredible story this man is. Multiple times he tried to commit suicide. We know what controversy he's gone through. He has been attacked by trolls. The bigots based on religion, based on everything else in the world. And here he is standing up for India, delivering a match-winning effort, 8 wickets and incredible bowling. Look at the consistency. The close to the stumps, beautiful stuff. One over after another. And how important is Mohammad Shami? Less than 10,000 balls to pick 200 odd wickets, average of 27, been there for his debut. Keep seeing this man grow. Absolutely phenomenal. We will celebrate Mohammad Shami. Also, Tomorrow is the big show, the backstage with Boria. I have to say this. It is perhaps my favorite episode. In the 40 odd minutes, Ravi Chandran Ashwin has just opened it all. Look at what he has gone through, what he's all about. You will know a lot about Ravi Ashwin, the man. So tomorrow, backstage with Boria, we will play that clip as to what Ashwin and Vihari did at Sydney. And you must listen to it tomorrow. Do not miss that show at 2 p.m. I will play that Ravi Ashwin clip also. Because Sydney is as important as any win in the last 12 months. That's what started this year. So we will play both of these clips as part of this show. So why don't we do this? Why don't I play Mohammad Shami for you? And you guys must take a look at Mohammad Shami. Why? And then I will analyze all of the victories. We will analyze the Sydney draw. We'll go back and talk about Boxing Day of last year. And we will then talk Lords, we will talk Gabba, we will talk Oval, we will talk Centurion and celebrate Indian cricket's best ever test year. Except the blip during the World Test Championship final against New Zealand, it has been a fantastic year for Indian cricket. So here's Mohammad Shami and celebrating Mohammad Shami, and then we delve into each of the victories. Post your questions on the chat, tweet your questions, and Shopnil, my producer, will pass them on to me. So post your questions, give your comments, we will take them. But here's Mohammad Shami. Shopnil, can sport for me is all about pushing yourself, excelling yourself despite adversity, overcoming challenges, and one of the best people to have done that over the years for Indian cricket is Mohammad Shami. Take a look at Mohammad Shami's career. Firstly, many congratulations for the 200 test wickets that he took against South Africa yesterday. It's an incredible feat by an Indian fast bowler. Mohammad Shami, and I was part of his debut test as well, but that will come later. Firstly, Mohammad Shami was not picked in the under-19 team. Can you beat that? Yes, he was not picked for the under-19 team in Uttar Pradesh because of a selection issue. And we all know how in the past selection committees were. And at that point in time, Mohammad Shami was asked to come to Bengal. From Amroha. His father was a fast bowler as well, and from there on he went to Moradabad to train under coach Badruddin Siddiqui. And his coach was very hopeful that Mohammad Shami will become a fast bowler of repute, and was very confident that he will make the Uttar Pradesh team, in the under-19 team for the age group tournament. Unfortunately, when that did not happen, he advised Mohammad Shami to come to Bengal, and that's when, thankfully for Bengal, he came here and then started his journey, made his Ranji Trophy debut in 2010 and immediately impressed everybody. We have documented his journey from then on. In 2012, Mohammad Shami was picked for the India A team against the West Indies, and in those dead tracks, impressed one and all. One and all in 2012 with his guile, with pace and movement and swing. And in 2013, a test match that is also well known for Sachin Tendulkar's 199th test match in Calcutta, Mohammad Shami entered the international fold against the West Indies. Anybody who saw him bowl rather in that particular test match was hugely impressed with Mohammad Shami. 10 wickets, brilliant bowling. You can go and ask Sachin Tendulkar, for example, and he will laugh and say that Mohammad Shami ensured that India did not have to bat too much. He was brilliant. But thereafter, if people thought his career would go in one graph, that did not happen. There was a car accident, and as a result, Mohammad Shami, was seriously injured. There was a debilitating injury, as a result of which for 18 months, Mohammad Shami was not able to play cricket. And he went through a lot of highs and lows over a period of time, more lows. Just when everyone thought that maybe his white ball career is done, he did extraordinarily well in that 2015 World Cup in Australia. That is what it is about Mohammad Shami. Every time you write him off, every time he will make a comeback and impress one and all. That's what happened after the personal crisis as well. Mohammad Shami's cricket was soon off record or off the radar, and his personal issues became the headline in the national press. Anyone could have been mentally badly impacted. It is only natural that his mental health would have been really badly impacted. Mohammad Shami even overcame that, made yet another comeback, and this time he was determined to make it count. Phenomenal in red ball, he is one of the best India currently has, and if you see along with Jasprit Bumrah and more recently Mohammad Siraj, not to forget Ishant Sharma and Umesh Yadav, have made a stellar Indian fast bowling unit. Even in South Africa on day 2 of this first test match, Mohammad Shami was literally unplayable. Aiden Markram got the taste of it. 200 test wickets from this man from Amroha. He has been a phenomenon for Indian cricket, make no mistake. And we all know that campaign We Stand with Shami, when a lot of abuse was hurled against him. I think he has put the debate for rest once and for all. Here on Rev Sports and Rev Sports Extra Time, we decided to celebrate Mohammad Shami and his 200 test wickets. It's an achievement like no other, and as I said, merits all of us, all of Indian fans, to take a bow and salute the man for what he has achieved. Even in terms of fitness, giving up on his favorite biryani, Mohammad Shami is at the peak of his powers. For Indian cricket, fingers crossed, he remains there for a good period of time. Well done and many congratulations. Each one of these victories, I mean, look at Mohammad Shami, the special segment that we just aired for you. Look at the kind of effort he has put in. Look at the story of the man. And let's now go down each victory. The year started in the sense with that Sydney match. Before that, obviously, the Melbourne match last year, Adelaide, India was 36 all out, and then Ajinkya Rahane took over when Virat Kohli came back. Ajinkya Rahane, that Melbourne 100, incredible 100 under pressure. Watch Sachin Tendulkar's 1999 innings multiple times before going out to bat. Some important calls taken. Ravindra Jadeja, Rishabh Pant played by Ravi Shastri and Virat, that team, Ravi, Virat and Ajinkya together. And key calls. Not a batsman. Everybody thought India will play an additional batsman. They went in with an all-rounder. Ravindra Jadeja got a 50. Rishabh Pant some important runs in the middle, turned it around, and then India won that Boxing Day test match, set it up. Mohammad Siraj making his test debut, and what a phenomenal debut that was. Thereafter comes 2021 and that Sydney test. Who could have imagined what Ravichandran Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari were able to accomplish in that particular match? Braving pain, braving a torn hamstring, braving what all Hanuma Vihari and Ravichandran Ashwin went through is stuff of lore. I will play that video for you. I will play what Ravichandran Ashwin went through just now. And once you listen to that video, it will make you understand what happened in Sydney and why that match can well be called the turnaround of Indian cricket in that particular year of 2021. Take a look at this video. And once again, I tell you, the big Ravichandran Ashwin backstage with Boria show. This clip will give you a clear idea what depth this show has and how much Ravichandran Ashwin has opened up. Take a look at this video about what happened in Sydney, and then we will analyze Gabba, Lords, Oval and Centurion. Take a look. Back to Sydney, you were standing there. You were standing for 3 hours. Bharat told me, Hanuma told me, I've spoken to everybody. You could not even sit. Give me a sense, man. I mean, what, and you were telling me off camera what happened. This I can ask you. Tell me on camera. How did you manage that?
So again, right, every time something happens to my body, right, this was very freakish. It's like I even went to the extent of studying exercise science. What is happening with my body? Why is my body giving up? And then I put everything to bed. Like I started training, like we all do exercises in the gym, right? We lift, we do deadlifts, we do squats. I wanted to understand how these are translating into movement patterns on the ground. So I started my gym exercise and working out exercises the way I was playing on the field. And I thought I had put to bed all those sort of injuries and limitations I had, because when I came out, my body felt fresh. And I had put everything to bed, went to Melbourne, the Sydney test was going on. We could draw the test match. We had a chance of winning the test match. And suddenly I turn up on day 5, was it? When the declaration happened. Sorry, day 4. So what happens in Sydney, I'm sure you're aware, everywhere else, they'll give you the bowling place just besides the pitch, where there is a pitch. It's hard. But in Sydney, they give you the outer surface, which is full of sand. So because we had bowled for the first 4 days, the footholds were big, and I went and just warmed up and bowled the first ball. My toe landed and the toe stuck inside the hole and my upper body twisted. And I'm like, ouch, that hurt. And one of the hips went down and the other hip went up. And I was wincing in lower back pain, and I didn't know how to do it. And then I went to Nitin, the physio, and I said, it's paining. He said, okay, lie down. And he took a look and they said the left toe is in front and the right toe is in back. So it was that bad. And he kept rotating my hip, got it into position. But whatever said and done, the damage had been done. He gave me a really powerful painkiller. I took the painkiller and kept bowling. It was painful because it took me 2 overs for the pain barrier to cross. I bowled 2 overs at Steven Smith and Manas Labuschagne, just darting the ball so that my body got into, the pain, got used to it. I got used to the pain. And once I bowled the 2 overs, I kept going for 14 overs. I told Ajinkya and Rohit that I cannot stop. If you stop me, I can't bowl again. So I went for 14 overs. And then my body was in pure shape, and they declared, and then I went in. Little did I know that I was going to have the worst night of my life. So when I went after dinner, like I was just sitting, stretching, I went after dinner to lie down. My back didn't go down. Like I couldn't go down. So literally I put a towel underneath my back, held my hip up, and then went to sleep. I thought usually with back spasm, if you take a painkiller, the next morning is better. So the next morning I was awake. My mind was telling me to get up, but I couldn't. I couldn't turn left, turn right, or get up. And I kept yelling out. We were in 2 rooms. My kids were there. So my wife sleeps with the kids to give me space to sleep. So I was shouting about 20-25 times before my wife came up. The children were helping me hold my hands, and she just pulled me up and I couldn't get up. So I just got on all fours, and even all fours were paining. So I called Yogesh. Nitin didn't pick up the phone. The other physio, I crawled outside the door, kept yelling for Yogesh. He came, he gave me a medicine, he gave me a painkiller, lifted me and just put me in the shower. So after I put some hot water on my back, it started warming up. And then I don't know how I even went to the game. So it was really painful. Put the bag, and my daughter held my shorts because I couldn't. So she just pushed the shorts up, and as she was pushing my shorts, I was like tearing up in pain. And my wife looked at me and said, "You're going to go and play a game?" I said, "I have to do it." But when I came back, when she called me after the game, I was sitting outside giving that immediate after game interview. My wife sent a message, "You actually did play." So it was quite, and she told me how my daughters were cheering, how they were watching the game. She was teaching them the game. I just felt that particular day, forget about the performances, whatever it is, that particular day in Sydney, with pain, with injury, Ashwin could have shirked off. The same place where Sydney, a lot of people felt I shirked off, is where it was meant to happen, and I was so pleased.
Okay, so there goes Ravichandran Ashwin. What an incredible story the man is. Please listen to me and watch the show tomorrow. You will not miss it. You will not seriously think, why did I? It was one of the best backstage with Boria shows. Let's now go to the GABA test. Unbelievable. Nobody would have given India a chance. 320 plus on the last day. Navdeep Saini, when he ran that run, Rishabh Pant, and I spoke to him soon after. He said, Navdeep did not even have the ability to run, and he said, bhag, bhag. And when he finally sees the ball hit the boundary, that Rishabh Pant 89 will, in my book, be one of the best test innings played this particular year. What an incredible test match. Cheteshwar Pujara, body blow after body blow, soaking it all in, and yet not giving up. What an incredible effort. Mohammad Siraj, Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar. Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. If GABA was the high point, I would still rate GABA as the best ever Indian test win, almost overseas after that Calcutta test match against Australia. It is one of the greatest ever test wins. Fortress GABA, and now Centurion. After that, if you think of Lords, who would have given India a chance? Who would have given India a chance? Because, all of us, incredible. Anand Vasu, if you're ready, why don't you join? Let me tell Shopnil. Shopnil, can you get Anand to join in, please? Let's have Anand Vasu join in. Anand, can you please join this particular show? Let's have the perspective from there. Shopnil, speak to Anand and tell him that Boria is live, and he's just attended the press conference. I would want him to join this show live. Just get him live on this link urgently. If you can hear, Anand can join us from Centurion. Get him live on this particular link. Yeah, let's get Anand. And Lords was another incredible effort. All of us. Fantastic test match, incredible test match. The way India bowled that last few hours, what an incredible achievement that was. Then thereafter was over. Oh, India was sensational there, and now Centurion everywhere. Had the England series been played, I think India would have conclusively been able to close it out. It will be difficult in 22, but no one should put this past this Indian team at all. I think Anand will also join us. Let me also quiz Anand and get his perspective, because according to me, this Centurion win alongside GABA, Lords, Oval, and Centurion, this is like a band. This is like this band that stretches through Indian cricket. Tremendous stuff. Tremendous stuff. What an incredible year. Clearly, having seen Indian cricket over the years, over decades, I have to say this is perhaps Indian Test cricket's best ever year. The World Test Championship final notwithstanding. And I really want to pick Anand's brain on that, because he was there in Centurion. He watched that action live. An incredible test match to watch and cover. Tremendous. Shopnil, if Anand is joining, it will be nice to have him on the show. Now, if I come back to this particular test match, yes, some will say, oh, you know what, South Africa without Anrique Nokia. Nothing like that should be said. Nothing whatsoever should be said. South Africa, this team, even there is a Kagiso Rabada, there's a Lungi Ngidi. They are playing in their own backyard. India has gone on the 16th or the 17th. They've just got 1 week to prepare. When you think all of that and then put it in context of what KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal was able to achieve in the first innings, you will understand how significant that partnership was, that opening partnership. That is what made the difference. So it's a spot-on call. It's a spot-on call to give KL Rahul the man of the match. Clearly, that opening stand and that 100 by KL Rahul on a wicket that quickened up, as you've seen Anand talk about it on day 2, when the washout happened on day 3, Clearly, the pace of the wicket had quickened up. That made a hell of a lot of difference. KL Rahul's 100 on day one, when you've just been in South Africa for 7 days, made an incredible difference to the fortune of this test match. That's what set it up. That is precisely what it is all about. Shopnil, if Anand is there, can you join? Yeah, great. Good to see. Anand, welcome. You've got Centurion behind you, man. You lucky man. I mean, you've taken the incredible chance of going. You are there. You watched it. All yours. So where do you locate this? Gabba to Centurion? What an incredible year for India. All over to you, Mr. Vasu. Take it over.
Yeah, it's been an incredible thing. I mean, to just to be here when history was made. I mean, usually you read about history in textbooks, or you hear about it later, much later on. To actually be here and watch this win, and KL Rahul was man of the match, obviously, for setting it up. But if you look at the game, it was not just him that did things. His partnership with Mayank Agarwal was crucial. Following that, Ajinkya Rahane playing positively, making sure that India got past that 300 score. And then the bowling, Mohammad Shami was just unbelievable, literally unplayable. And then Bumrah in the second innings. So in that sense, like many of India's great wins, this was one in which everyone contributed. It was a complete team effort.
You were there at the press conference, Anand. Tell us a little bit about the press conference. What are the takeaways from the press conference?
Yeah, KL Rahul said that one of the things that he had to do was learn to enjoy leaving the ball alone, because in the shorter formats, whether you're playing in 50 over cricket or 20 over cricket, all the excitement is about hitting fours and sixes, and that's what people come to watch. So it's sometimes difficult for a batsman to enjoy just leaving the ball alone, knowing where your off stump is, and he's learned to do that in this year. He said that was one of the major changes that he made. Obviously, mentioning that standing in slips or mid on mid off to bowlers like Shami and Bumrah is a great thrill and a great feeling, and he said he wants to be there as long as Jasprit Bumrah is playing, because it gives you a vantage viewpoint of some of the most skilled fast bowling that's around in the world today.
Anand, we are calling this show and with a question mark, that is this Indian Test cricket's best ever year. Yes, we lost the WTC final, but if you take Gabba, Lords, Oval, Centurion, the Sydney save, you actually think, wow, this team can actually do everything. Your thoughts on that? Is this the best year? Yes, the World Test Championship final notwithstanding.
Well, in terms of Test cricket and results, it has to be India's best year. I mean, you starting the year winning at the Gabba and finishing the year winning at Centurion, two places that are incredibly difficult to win at, and winning series as well. So from that point of view, you have to say that this is India's best year. There will be other years that come close. Winning the '83 World Cup was special. Winning the 2011 World Cup was special. There have been other great wins as well. But in terms of Test cricket purely, this has to be India's best year.
Clearly, and now that you've been there, you watched this particular Test match. Talk to me about just watching Jasprit Bumrah at the best of his art at the end of day 4, that Rasi van der Dussen wicket and that Keshav Maharaj Yorker. So talk to me about Jasprit Bumrah and talk to me about Mohammad Shami. Mohammad Shami is no flash, he's no flashy. He's not sort of like some other bowlers, but that amazing consistency of Mohammad Shami. What an incredible achievement! 200 Test wickets at an average of 27 under 10,000 balls. Phenomenal. Talk to me about Bumrah and Shami.
Yeah, see, Jasprit Bumrah, the most incredible part in this Test match is that he even came back and bowled. If you look at that injury, it was a horrific one, the way the ankle twisted. And any player will tell you that the ankle is such a crucial thing and one of the most difficult injuries and most painful ones to deal with, because you're constantly putting pressure on the foot. Your entire body weight is running through that ankle. So for him to come back as soon as he did, spend his time on the field and then get back to bowling as quickly as he could, showed just how keen he was and showed how he realized that he had an important role to play if India were going to win this Test match. His skills are just phenomenal. I mean, there is no bowler in the world, I think, today who assesses conditions as quickly as he does. He knows on day 1 what lengths, what lines to bowl. He knows that on day 3 it's a little different, on day 4 it's a little different, and what you need to do. I think that plays a major role because he sets the tone for the other bowlers in the team as well. In terms of his natural ability, that ball some of the balls that he was literally bent around the corner. I mean, the ball that Aiden Markram got in the first innings, forget about Aiden Markram, I don't think any right-hand batsman could have kept that out. And the manner in which that ball, that magic ball, happened in the first innings caused Markram's dismissal in the second innings as well. It was a different kind of delivery, but that ball was still on his mind. So he wasn't sure whether play, leave, forward, back, and that cost him his wicket. And of course, the Vander
Swapnil, please ask Prantik and Sudhir to join as well. I mean, Anand is already there. Let's have a full house. Let's celebrate for a few minutes. Get them to join. Please join. Anand, you were talking to me about Mohammad Shami. A word on Siraj also. I mean, such a bundle of energy, this man. Yes, that was unnecessary. That throw to Temba Bavuma, not needed. But other than that, Siraj has been, coming at you all the time.
And that makes all the difference. See, before I go to Siraj, I just want to say one thing about Shami. And that, like you pointed out, he's not that flashy a bowler. He doesn't have a very dramatic one magic ball or something like that. But is in some ways the most complete bowler that India have, in the sense that he takes the ball away through the air both ways. He brings it, he seams it on in almost all conditions. He's able to get the ball to move off the seam. He has a very skiddy bouncer. He has a natural hard back of a length delivery, and he's attacking the stumps all the time. So in that sense, he's pretty much the complete package as a fast bowler. And now, so as a batsman, you've gone past Bumrah, and you've somehow managed to see off Shami. Then you get Siraj. Now this is the problem that teams are facing against this Indian team compared to Indian teams of the past.
Absolutely.
Previously, you might have had a Zahir Khan and a Sreesanth, but once you saw that spell off, you got a bit of relief from whoever the third bowler is. No disrespect to any of the other bowlers who played. But now, just when you're kind of mentally exhausted, having seen off the first spell from these two bowlers, Siraj comes in. And Siraj again is the kind of bowler, swings it, seams it, has a good bouncer, sharp bouncer that can surprise you. So he brings a different kind of energy to the bowling attack. And like you pointed out, the throw was completely unnecessary. But I guess that's part of his character. He just gets so involved in the game, gets so absorbed that he's always in the mix. And that's what makes him.
I mean, love the energy that he brings. And again today, that Quinton de Kock wicket was an important one. And he set him up. I mean, if you see that little period of play, you were almost like de Kock will get out, de Kock will get out. And he was giving you that opportunity, and then Siraj gets it. Yes.
Yes, and de Kock, I think, should have shown a little bit more respect to Siraj, because if you don't, then this is what happens. He gets the ball to move away, you play a cut and you miss. The next one, if you try to play a cut again, the ball comes back in and you miss. And then on a pitch that has variable bounce, he's going to get you. It looked like it was only a matter of time.
So your favorite? Sydney, Gabba. I mean, obviously you'll say Gabba, but where is Centurion? Because all of us who've grown up in the, seeing Alan Donald and that era, winning in South Africa will always be special. That too in Centurion, 21 of 26 and all of that. So where does this victory stand, Anand, in your pantheon? Lords, Oval, Centurion, of course Gabba. Where do you locate this one?
Well, as you say, it's very, very difficult to win in South Africa, and we're very used to seeing very bleak headlines coming from South Africa when India tour. That has been my experience growing up and following India tours of South Africa. So it's dramatic to start off in this fashion. This has to be right up there. I think also it's more special when you're at the ground and watching games. While you appreciate the magnitude of wins in other places, to actually be here, it kind of makes you feel in some way that you're a part of it as well. For me, in that sense, till date, still 2001 Kolkata against Australia remains the most dramatic and the most emotional and the most kind of involved win. But in terms of skill, in terms of performance, in terms of difficulty, this has to be right up there.
And I saw that photograph of yours where you sort of put out KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal as two youngsters, been a long time. I think what set up this match was 7 days in South Africa, and then you put up a 100-run opening stand. When you win the toss, your captains have asked you to bat. That is what set this match up, KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal. And both of them have had rough patches, dropped, coming back, all of that. So thoughts on both KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal?
Yeah, absolutely. See, winning the toss is a very good thing to do and a very crucial and important thing to do. But after you win the toss, unless you put the runs on the board, unless you bat properly, you're going to give away that advantage very quickly, especially in a place like South Africa. I think both batsmen realize that responsibility, given the fact also that our middle order has been struggling for the last couple of years. A couple of bright knocks, but in general, the runs have not been coming from your 3, 4, 5. So these two knew that it was imperative that they give the team a start. Now, when you put that responsibility on certain people, they might choke under that, or they might struggle with that, or they might go into a shell. These two didn't do that. These two played normal, classical, good Test cricket, and they put a stand on. And you must remember also that this is not even India's first choice opening batting pair. I mean, if Rohit Sharma was around, Mayank Agarwal would not have been in the 11 in this team. In that sense, what they did was even more commendable.
Okay, now the tricky one. Obviously, a lot of viewers have said Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara. I actually liked what I saw of Ajinkya Rahane yesterday. Sudhir Tyagi also joins us. Sudhir, welcome. Anand and I were talking about it. I think Prantik will also join soon. Anand, your thoughts on Ajinkya Rahane? Did you like what you saw of him yesterday? And do you think he'll get another opportunity in the New Year Test match? Both Pujara and him?
Well, I certainly enjoyed the way he batted. See, this is the thing with Rahane. If you look at any of his Test hundreds, they've all been exceptional hundreds. He doesn't scratch around and make hundreds. When he makes hundreds, they're really good hundreds. And they've often come in very, very difficult conditions or against very good attacks, which is precisely why I suppose the team backed him even after his poor run of form. On the back of this performance, I would think that certainly Rahane would get another Test match.
सुधीर भाई, आपने बोला था 40 ओवर चाहिए, 40 ओवर नहीं लगा, ऑलमोस्ट 30-32 ओवर में खत्म हो गया. आनंद बोल रहा है, प्रांतिक भी आ गया है, फैंटास्टिक, वी गॉट अ फुल हाउस. सो आनंद कह रहा है कि गैबा और उसके बाद ही ये टेस्ट मैच, क्योंकि सेंचुरियन में जीतना बहुत मुश्किल है. आपका थॉट?
बिल्कुल, देखिए वो खैर अपनी पूरी पब्लिक डोमेन में है, एक फोर्ट्रेस की तरह से इस्तेमाल हुआ है अभी तक, और वहां पर पहली एशियन टीम है भारतीय टीम जिसने ये फतेह हासिल की है, और बहुत टफ विकेट है. वहां का अच्छा खासा अनुभव भी है, और जिस तरह से प्रेडिक्शंस थी वाकई में भारतीय टीम के लिए एक बहुत बढ़िया खबर है, एक मोरल बूस्टिंग उनकी ये विन है. और मैं भी आनंद भाई को सुन रहा था, उनकी एक एक बात बिल्कुल सही सटीक है. आपने जो कुछ सवाल भी पूछे अजिंक्य रहाणे के विषय में, एब्सोल्युटली उन्होंने इस मैच में जिस तरह से बैटिंग की है, वैसे मुझे लग नहीं रहा था किसी भी एंगल से कि वो फॉर्म में नहीं है. जो उनके बल्ले से रन निकल रहे थे, जिस तरीके से वो बैटिंग कर रहे थे, जो उनकी अप्रोच थी, डिस्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट कि ये विकेट टफ थी, अच्छी गेंदबाजी हो रही थी, पर वो बिल्कुल बहुत पॉजिटिव खेल रहे थे. तो डेफिनेटली मुझे लगता है, आपके सवाल का मैं एडवांस में जवाब दे रहा हूँ, बिल्कुल उनको अगले टेस्ट मैच में बिल्कुल खेलना चाहिए. थिंक टैंक का भी मुझे लगता है यही सोचना होगा. इतनी पॉजिटिव बल्लेबाजी उन्होंने की है, मिडिल ऑर्डर में मुझे लगता नहीं कि बहुत ज्यादा परेशानी अब होगी. सिर्फ एक नॉक चाहिए उनका, सिर्फ एक नॉक, और देखिए वो पहले वाले अजिंक्य रहाणे हो जाएंगे जिन्होंने ऑस्ट्रेलिया में कोहराम मचाया था.
Prantik, Anand is joining us from Centurion. He's at the ground. He showed us a glimpse of the ground. So I will let you ask your questions to Anand. I've asked mine. Please go for it before I come in again.
Anand, well, before asking questions, all I will say is we are extremely jealous of you because this is absolutely insane that, we... so I mean, I have too many questions to ask. First question is, how did you manage to get there in all this bio bubble life? But we'll get to that. I think my one question for you is, I think with Virat, now having 7 wins across, South Africa, England, Australia, what's your genuine feeling about the series? I'm just elated that we are ending the year with another fortress in our bag. But do you think that we have set the right tone for the series and we are probably going to win this series? What's your take given the other 2 matches, upcoming matches?
Absolutely, it's the hardest place to win in South Africa is Centurion. India's never won here before. In 26 Test matches before this one, South Africa had won 21 of those games. It was important to start well here, even if India did not win. If India had even drawn this Test match, it would have been a great start to the series, especially considering if this is South Africa's fortress, Wanderers is India's fortress. India has played 5 Test matches at the Wanderers, won twice, drawn thrice. India has never lost a Test match at the Wanderers. And India is the only team in the world, only visiting team in the world, who has never lost a Test at Wanderers. So yes, this is the best possible start. You could not have asked for anything more.
Absolutely, and Rahul Dravid's there. He's obviously had a great time at Wanderers as well. I mean, one more question from my side. I think Sudhir and I have been talking about this all week. It applies to Ashes as well. Is our bench strength is so strong. Now, with the likes of Mayank doing well in general, and with Shreyas and Hanuma, do you see a potential change in the team, or should we stick with this 11 as a whole?
Well, I think the only question will be, the only serious question to ponder will be, does Pujara get another match or not? Because the way Rahane has played in this match, he's showed that he's clearly not out of form, as Sudhir Bhai pointed out. So it's a question of do you give Pujara one more test match, or do you bring Shreyas back in? Because Shreyas scored 100 and a 65 in just 2 test matches ago. So this is the only question, but I don't think at the moment the Indian team is thinking about questions like this. At the moment, they're just celebrating. There's time still before we get to Joburg, and take a look at the conditions there, take a look at how everybody's feeling, and then make a call on whether to change anything or not.
Sudhir, your questions? Last couple of?
दादा, मैं तो पहली चीज तो वाकई में शुरुआत हुई थी ना कि आनंद से हम बहुत ज्यादा जलस है कि वो पहुंचे कैसे पहुंचे। मैंने सारे घोड़े खोल के देख लिए।
Everyone is asking this. How did you actually manage to land up there? How did you take this bold call again? With all this Omicron madness going on, batao bhai.
Well, I think, we've been going through this pandemic for about 2 years now. So we've seen various different iterations with various different struggles throughout the whole thing. And we've reached a point where if you're vaccinated and you take all possible precautions, I'm not wearing my mask now, but otherwise the whole day we're sitting in the press box, you're wearing masks. You wash your hands, you sanitize, you do what the doctors tell you. But beyond a point, I think you must try and move things forward. If not, try and move things back to the old way, the normal before COVID. It may take a long time before we reach that situation where things are back to normal and COVID is a thing of the past. But for the moment, you can only be as careful as you possibly can, and push forward. And I don't regret it at all, one bit. That much I can tell you.
No, you should not. I mean, none of us regret that, because to have you from there is so much fun, and you've just seen history being created. Sudhir, आपका एक और सवाल आनंद से?
बिल्कुल। आनंद, अभी हम बात कर रहे थे टीम, जिस तरह से प्रांतिक ने बोला कि क्या किसको अंदर किसको बाहर। शार्दुल ठाकुर के विषय में आप क्या कहते हैं? क्या वाकई में अगले मैच में, नो डाउट विनिंग कॉम्बिनेशन अक्सर चेंज नहीं होती है, लेकिन क्या शार्दुल ठाकुर आपको लगता है क्या कमजोर कड़ी दिखाई दे रहे हैं भारतीय गेंदबाजी में?
I think this team will be very, very careful about dropping Shardul Thakur, because his bowling is one thing, but don't forget he was there at the Gabba and he's here now. So if nothing else, he completes rounds of the bowling lineup, and he seems to bring tremendous good luck to this team. And his batting didn't even come to the picture in this match, but we all know what he can do with the bat. So I think they will think very hard before replacing Shardul Thakur in this team.
Okay, so let me ask all of you. So Sudhir, Gabba, Centurion, Lords, Oval, Sydney, is this Indian Test cricket's best year? Anand says yes. 1971 also comes in, into the focus. 50 years of 71, beating West Indies, beating England, maybe this year. Your thoughts on ये क्या हमारा best year है Test cricket का at least?
बिल्कुल बढ़िया भाई, इसमें 1% की भी इधर या उधर बात नहीं की जा सकती। भारतीय टीम ने जो करिश्मा किया है इस पूरे साल, जो आगाज हुआ था ऑस्ट्रेलिया से, अंजाम इतना खूबसूरत होगा इसकी उम्मीद किसी को नहीं थी। यहाँ के विषय में हम सभी जान रहे थे कि इतना आसान नहीं होगा। आनंद की बात से मैं बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ, आनंद भाई जो कह रहे हैं। यहाँ पर एक सपना था कि क्या सेंचुरियन में भारतीय टीम जीत पाएगी या एशियन टीम को जीत पाएगी। बहुत बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन रहा, बावजूद इस बात के कि जो मिडिल ऑर्डर की परेशानियां थी वो भी काफी हद तक थोड़ी सी सॉर्ट आउट हो गई। भारतीय टीम के लिए ये साल बावजूद तमाम अटकलों के बहुत ही बेहतरीन रहा, और उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि आने वाले कई साल इस नई युवा कॉम्बिनेशन के साथ ऐसे ही बीते।
Anand, Ravi Shastri will want us to believe this is India's best ever Test team. I know there is a lot of debate, but Ravi being Ravi, your thoughts on that?
Well, this is the most successful Indian Test team, that is for sure. You can say that without any shadow of doubt. And Ravi, having worked closely with the team, is very close to all the boys in this team, and he will naturally feel that this is the best team. But without taking anything away from this team, I would also not like to disrespect any teams of the past. They've also gone out on international tours trying to win series. There have been some phenomenal players in those teams. I think the difference is the way this team has come together, the way this bowling attack, this relentlessness of this bowling attack. We didn't have a set of 5, 6 bowlers bowling at 140 plus with varied skills. And this also, the bowlers in that group are much more experienced now than they were on previous tours. So credit to Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli for sticking to these fast bowlers and playing 5 bowlers consistently in Test cricket. They've been criticized for doing that in the past, but they're laughing all the way to the bank now.
Prantik, your thoughts?
Yes, I mean, let me first start by talking about 1971, and those. I mean, a very it's never fair to compare eras and generations. I mean, to think that Sunil Gavaskar had the courage to play in West Indies without helmet against an attack. I mean, it's a completely different metal. But I think, as Anand was alluding to, the fact that it's the bowling strategy, the bowling attack. I was looking at the numbers. Bumrah has over 100 overseas wickets in the last, since 2018. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And, Bharat Aram spoke about workload management, the way we have used 5 bowlers. We still have a bench, Umesh, Ishan, Saini, etc. So I think it's the bowling, fast bowling. Andy Roberts, in the video that you shared earlier, he spoke about that. If you want to dominate overseas, spin alone can't help us. I mean, we've had a fantastic, we've had very many fantastic series with right from the spin quartets to Kumble, Harbhajan, etc. But it's the pace attacks. It really boils down to this 4 or 5 fast bowlers picking 20 wickets regularly in overseas conditions. So in my book, definitely the best unit. I mean, we have followed the class of 2000. We've had some legendary cricketers, but unfortunately, even that batch had not been able to achieve what this is. But again, I suppose every generation kind of, every future generation feeds off what the past generation has done. So I think obviously their contributions can never be belittled, no ways at all. But I would agree with, even if Ravi Shastri is having that special drink, gloating that, it's the best team. Kudos to what they have done. In my books, the best team for sure.
Fabulous. 48 minutes already into the show. Closing comments. Anand has to go for his meal. Prantik is already out at dinner. Sudhir has to enjoy his, despite Omicron and taking all protocols. Sudhir, you go first. Final thoughts, and before I go to Prantik and Anand can close it out.
बोरिया भाई, जो टीम कॉम्बिनेशन फिलहाल इस मैच में हमने देखी, मुझे बहुत बैलेंस साइड लगी। जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बल्लेबाजों के ऊपर थी, उन्होंने पूरी तरह से निभाया, अपने आप को बिल्कुल अप्लाई करके खेला। मुझे बस एक ही चीज की थोड़ी सी कमी खली, वो ये कि रविचंद्रन अश्विन को मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा सा और इस्तेमाल किया जाना चाहिए था। इसके अलावा ज्यादातर जो डिसीजंस थे विराट कोहली के, वो बिल्कुल सही दिखाई दिए। 1 या 2 जगह थोड़ी सी फील्डिंग में भी, अगर क्षेत्ररक्षण की जो जमावट है थोड़ी सी और एग्रेसिव होती, आक्रामक होती, तो शायद और बेहतर रिजल्ट्स जल्दी निकल सकते थे। अन्यथा बाकी इस पूरे टेस्ट मैच में भारतीय टीम ने एक यूनिट की तरह परफॉर्म किया। बहुत बढ़िया प्रदर्शन रहा और ऐसा ही कंसिस्टेंट प्रदर्शन आगे चाहिए। अगला जो मुकाबला है, जैसा कि अभी आनंद भी बता रहे थे, बिल्कुल एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होने वाला है। भारत के लिए वो ग्राउंड बहुत शुभ है। तो ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर इंडियन टीम।
Oh, absolutely. I think great start. I mean, what a wonderful year. Firstly, kudos to the team for giving us 2021. I genuinely hope 2022 turns out to be equally good, if not better. First things first, I think I'm hoping that we wrap up the series positively. Winning the series is critical. We can't just kind of rest on winning at Centurion, despite this being a massive moment. The other thing is, on my head, one concern, I think 2 concerns, is the selection thing. I think across formats, we've had it's a choice of plenty, and I'm hoping that we make the right calls. Agree with Sudhir Bhai on Ashwin being utilized better and better aggressive field settings when Ashwin's bowling. The last thing is, I'm not being skeptical, but I just think, yes, in the second innings, we had to score quicker. But I would want to see, our middle order and our last 4 who have done so well in Australia and England, hopefully they come to the party if need be. But I'm counting on the top 4 actually. I think our top 4, if I look at the last 3 years, weirdly, that's been a bit of a weak link for us. So I'm counting on the top 4 to, on average score 40 plus runs. I think my last research says we've scored around 34, 35 per wicket. If we can solve that, that's it. Our bowlers will help us win the series. I'm just hoping our batting kind of makes it count.
Anand, final thoughts. Are we winning the series? We have seen in 2005-06, we took the lead, we did not win. But this time round, are you seeing history being made? You've gone there, you've braved everything, you deserve to get this series win under your belt. What are your thoughts?
Well, we keep saying that this is the best opportunity to win in South Africa. This is the best chance to make history. Well, there's not much use if you waste that chance. It's a great start to the series, and I don't think this team is the kind that is going to waste chances. Um, they will press on, they will get stronger. And even though India won by 113 runs, you must remember that South Africa fought hard for long patches in this game. And you have to expect that. You're going to get more of that in the next test match. If India thinks one love lead and we have the edge, they could quite easily slip up. They have to bring the same intensity, the same focus, the same relentlessness to the second test. And if they do, there's no reason why India should not wrap up the series at the Wanderers.
Fingers crossed, these words come true. I'll finish this show here. This quartet will be back. This is the Rev Sports quartet, much like the Indian bowling quartet. But tomorrow, 2 p.m. Indian Standard Time, South Africa around 12:30, Singapore 4:30. That big show with Ravichandran Ashwin. Backstage with Boria with Ravichandran Ashwin tomorrow. Perhaps my favorite show, 45 minutes. Ravichandran Ashwin. Just listen to that show. None of you will feel where did the time go by. It was fantastic talking to him. It's physical. We had a chat. We were able to connect that way. It's not a virtual show. Very rare these days. So do watch out for that. Ravichandran Ashwin tomorrow at 2 p.m. backstage with Boria. Plenty more shows from South Africa with Anand Basu. Prantik, Sudhir, thank you very, very much for joining me. Back tomorrow. But for the moment, Anand, you can go and enjoy. Maintaining your protocols back in your apartment. Sudhir and Prantik, thanks very much once again, both of you, for joining me. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Stay safe. Take care.